It's Freaky Friday, Saints fans. And why is it Freaky Friday? Because we're getting weird on today's show. Bleacher Report put out an article recently about a potential trade for Davante Adams, and they threw together a trade package, so I'm going to react to that, share what Bleacher Report had to say. But then in the back half of today's show, we got some news around Mark Ingram. Hey, be sure to stick around for that. Be sure to like today's video. And before we get into today's video, I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe and join our squad. Because anytime there's any notable reports, stories, updates, news, rumors, or anything along that line or along those lines, we're going to have you covered. So join our squad, turn on your notifications, and hit that sub button. And if you won't do it for me, do it for Saints legend Lance Moore. We're trying to get to 16K. So let's get to 16K for the legendary number 16. Hit that sub button, turn on your noties, and let's get after today's show. So let's get weird, Saints fans. Bleacher Report, like I said, put out an article about some Firework trade ideas, and they had like several ideas. One of them was like Tyler Boyd to the Giants and all sorts of other crazy stuff. But the Saints were also listed with Davante Adams reuniting with Derek Carr. And I'm just going to kind of set the scene here. This is why I believe Bleacher Report put out this article, and why, or at least why they suggested Davante Adams getting traded to the Saints. Davante Adams recently spoke on his situation in Las Vegas, and he said, I'm going to have to buy into this and try to be as optimistic as possible. It's not what I expected to happen, but it's something that's the reality now. And as for what Bleacher Report cooked up for their trade idea, they said that the Saints could receive Davante Adams. However, they only have to give up a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 third-round pick. I kind of love it. I just, initial reaction, I kind of love this idea. If this is what the asking price is, send it. Mickey, send it. Get Davante Adams here. That would be insane. It would be stupid to not make that happen if this is all that they're asking for. So I want to ask you guys this question. Would you do this trade? Type trade or type pass? And we're going to get into some more details into how that would look, but I want you guys to weigh in right now for me. Take advantage of the YouTube ad break that might get placed here. Share your thoughts and type trade or pass. So if the Saints were to trade for Davante Adams, look at this depth chart. I mean, come on, guys. Davante Adams, wide receiver 1. Michael Thomas, wide receiver 2. Realistically, like, I wanted to do this on the graphic and just put like 1A and 1B, but, you know, we're going to try and keep it as true to what it would actually look like. Davante Adams, I think, would be wide receiver 1 because he has that familiarity. He's played more recently with Derek Carr. And, I mean, honestly, Davante Adams is a better wide receiver than Michael Thomas right now. Michael Thomas hasn't played in few years. He's been very limited because of injuries and stuff. So, you know, don't look at wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, hone in on that and be like, what are you talking about, Trace? Look at the depth chart as a whole. You have Davante Adams, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed as your 4 main guys. You can put Rashid Shaheed in the slot. You could put Michael Thomas in the slot. You could really do anything with these 4 guys, but then you have the depth in Brian Edwards, A.T. Perry, Keith Kirkwood, Kirk Merritt, James Washington, Traquan Smith, Shaq Davis, Lynn Bowden Jr., Kawan Baker, and Kiki Kuti. So here's what Bleacher Report had to say on the trade idea. Alex Ballantyne saying, the Saints have shown that they have no problem pushing cap problems into the future every offseason. They have $14.3 million of cap space to fit Davante Adams' cap numbers in their budget this year, creating a wide receiver trio of Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Davante Adams would immediately make them one of the most intriguing offenses in the league and give Carr more than he has had to work with in his entire career. And as for the financials, this is coming in from Over the Cap. The Raiders would eat $7.85 million. The Saints would only owe $6.89 million. So it's actually pretty realistic, and it actually could happen. And I think that the financials just prove that very much so. And, you know, before the June 1 trade, you know, or before the June 1 deadline, it would have cost upwards of like $30-something million for the Raiders or something like that. But point being, it's affordable for the Saints. You still have about $14.3 million in cap space. The Raiders don't have to eat a ton of money. And my take on it as a whole, right now, I think it's a little unlikely. I think that if you get closer to the trade deadline in the middle of the season, the Raiders just don't look good. That's when I think that this trade could go down if it were to happen. But let me just say this. I'm making a call to Las Vegas. I'm getting on the phone, and I'm calling up the Raiders, and I'm saying, what's it look like? What do you want for Davante Adams? What can we give you? Do you want Traquan Smith? Do you want some offensive line help? Do you want another defender? What can we offer you up to get Davante Adams to reunite with Derek Carr? Because it would just be awesome. Like I said, I don't think it's very likely. I don't think it's going to happen right now. If a trade does go down, I suspect it's a little bit close or later in the season when we are seeing real football being played. But I want you as the Who Dat Nation to gauge this question for me. How likely is a Davante Adams trade to New Orleans? Scale it 1 to 100. If it's 1, not happening at all. 100, it's definitely happened tomorrow, which is, if it does happen tomorrow, oh my God, we're going live. And I'm off tomorrow, but I'm coming in and I'm going crazy. So scale it for me. I'm going to put mine at like a 72. I don't think it's going to happen, but, it might. It still could happen, and it's not unrealistic. But, guys, after that, I need you to go and check out this cool T-shirt combo. I checked this morning. The sale's not lasting forever. We're almost out of stock. We're almost out of the sale. So, guys, if you want to take advantage of this deal, 2 T-shirts for 40% off, chatsports.com/Saints combo. Use that link so our friends over at Fanatics know that we sent you over there. That link will be available in the comment section and in the description of today's video, chatsports.com/Saints combo. All right, so let's round out today's show with some news on Mark Ingram, and he is on to some new adventures. So reports coming in last night. I wish that Mark Ingram would have been able to announce it himself, but Fox Sports, they announced it. It'd be like that, whatever. I think that this is some news that Ingram should have been able to share, but the report is that Mark Ingram is joining Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff this upcoming season, and I want to give some thoughts on that, but I want to just take a quick second to just appreciate the legend of Mark Ingram. I mean, look at these numbers, guys. These is just his rushing numbers. He had 1,817 carries, 8,111 yards, 65 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.5 yards per catch. And he also had 303 receptions, 2,125 yards on the ground, and 10 receiving touchdowns. The guy was a stud. He was a beast, and he was an animal over the course of 12 seasons. 10 of those he spent in New Orleans. And I just want to say this. I'm ecstatic for Mark Ingram. I think that this is such a cool opportunity for him. One, the personality that he has alone, I think, is going to directly translate to the sports media and to being on air and being on TV. I think that Mark Ingram is a really smart guy when it comes to football. He's a legend of the game, and he's going to thrive, in my personal opinion. I believe that he will thrive in an analyst role. I mean, not to mention the legendary aspect of him, 3-time Pro Bowler, BCS National Champion in 2010, the first ever Heisman winner for the Alabama Crimson Tide back in 2009. He was an unanimous All-American in 2009, first team All-SEC in 2009, second team All-SEC in 2010. The guy just was electric. He's the all-time leading rusher for the New Orleans Saints, not to mention that. He's a legend. He knows the game of football. And I might even have a hot take here. His NFL production and his NFL tenure was incredible, but I almost would argue that his college tenure was that much better. So I just think that him being in a college football analyst role just fits perfectly. I think it's really cool, and I'm super ecstatic, and I'm super excited and very proud of Mark Ingram for being able to take that next step in his career. So join me in congratulating the legend. Show some love. Type congrats in the comment section. I want all of you guys to show some love. If you made it to the end of today's video and I find out you didn't comment, I'm going to come and find you, and I'm going to make sure you go and comment on today's video. So type congrats. Show Mark Ingram some love. And guys, if you want to interact with me, if you want to hit me up on social media, I'm trying to grow my game on social media, trying to send out some more hot takes, some more interactive content, some fun videos, all sorts of cool content across my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm not on Threads yet. I already have too much shit on my plate right now, so I'm not adding a Threads account today. But here's where you can find me, at TraceGerard48 on all 3 platforms. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And as always, y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.